I haven't done one of these in a while. Can we talk about the Apple Vision Pro? This is the M5 version. How would you know it's the M5 version? Well, it has this dual knit strap and it's heavier. That's about it. I've actually got the Vision Pro 2, the M5 one here, and the original, which I bought myself, what was it, over a year ago now, I suppose. And did Apple listen? I think that's the main question. Did they listen to our feedback and improve it in a meaningful way that makes us now think, ooh, let's all rush out and spend $3.5 grand on a AR, VR headset? Well, no, not really. Now, before we dive in, I haven't made one of these videos in a little while, but it's basically my one take, no cuts. I will include a little bit of B-roll just to make things a bit more interesting throughout, to sort of show you what I can see through the Vision Pro and what, but there's no point spending weeks making a full-length video with lots of B-roll of me just doing this. It's not the most exciting. So yeah, one take, no cuts, no bullshit, I like to say. And so sit back. Someone said to me in an earlier video, this is, these kind of videos are like S-tier background content, S-tier second monitor content, which is great, I love that. So let's talk about the M5 Vision Pro. And I mean, it's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing, except you have the M5 chip, so it does a few things faster. It comes with this dual knit band, which destroys your hair, but does make it more comfortable. The refresh rate now goes up to 120 Hertz, although I do still have an issue with it because I can't seem to get the 120 Hertz to work with my MacBook, which is one of the main reasons I want to use a Vision Pro as like a, an ultra immersive, massive display, particularly when I'm traveling. So M5 chip, dual knit band, it has 120 Hertz refresh rate, and it ruins your hair. It messes your hair up. I think there was something else. Oh, 10% more pixels. So where you're looking is about 10% sharper. Going between, I'm going to spend a while fixing my hair now. Going between the old one and the new one, it doesn't look or feel much different. Going around the UI is just a little bit smoother because of the high refresh rate, but that does adjust based on what you're doing. They say it's 10% sharper or more detailed, sort of in the area where you're looking. Obviously, you've still got that foveated rendering, as they call it, on the edge. So to optimize efficiency and performance, it kind of focuses on the sharpness and the graphics more where you're looking, where your eyes are looking, and then blurs the rest. It's this very clever way that game designers often try to improve how the games look without using more performance than they need to. Anyway, it looks perhaps a tiny bit sharper. My eyesight is not what it used to be, but it's really about that we have the M5. The trouble is, though, I love this thing. I genuinely do. If you saw my full review of the M2 version 18 months ago or whenever it was, I used it on the train, I went around town, I got looks, as everyone did. I was, trying to fully immerse myself in the Apple Vision Pro experience. And I still think this is the most magical device, most magical bit of tech that I've used in a long time. Like seriously, I can't talk about the Apple briefings that I have because they're sort of what they call their own background. So things that are said there are just sort of for my context and my knowledge. They're not for direct quotes or anything. But we had the briefing for this M5 Vision Pro in the Vision Pro in a FaceTime meeting, and there were 4 personas. I was with another creator. We had a couple of the team from Apple, and it was the best frickin' thing I've seen in a long time. I was just sat around a table in my house just like this. It was like 7 o'clock at night, and there was a lady here, there's a chap there, and another guy there, and it was like personas, the creepy face scanning avatar things have become so good. Like they've got so much better since the original one launched, but that was through a software update and is exactly the same on the old one as the new one. So that's not an exclusive feature of the new headset, but it is an improvement we've seen during the lifetime of the Vision Pro. And they look so good. Like there's still that eerie, what do they call it, uncanny valley of it all, but it was the point where I was trying to describe a virtual reality business meeting type thing. But it was where I felt like I had to maintain eye contact with the lady talking to me because it was so real, but not just the visual of her persona and her eyes moving and you can stick your tongue out and smile and raise your eyebrows and things, but the sound, the speakers on this, and then the sound the positioning of the sound is so realistic. Like if the lady was talking there, I'd be like, yeah, Someone would jump in over there, I could hear that, yeah, But I wanted to maintain eye contact with her persona from my persona in here, because I felt like if I was just going like, ooh, it would be really rude. And then they brought up a Vision Pro in the middle that you could sort of manipulate. That almost sold me on this for B2B business meetings, for conceptual walkthroughs, for product demonstrations, for prototyping. I could see, a small, medium business bringing someone in, if they had an office in New York, an office in London, or they could ship one of these to someone. They're like, join this FaceTime, here's the product we've been developing, prototyping, and you can like zoom in and move around, you can start a PowerPoint slide, or a Pages slide, or whatever it is. So cool, and that was just the bloody briefing. I come away with this, like Apple's created these immersive experiences. You've got like a MotoGP one, you can go behind the scenes at the Yankee Stadium. There's a couple of really cool films they've made. There's the submarine one, none of which I can actually capture on this because it has copyright issues. So like as soon as I start recording using, internally recording on this, it's like, nope, black screen. So I can't really show you that outside of trailers. But you can tell the excitement in my voice, right? In theory and in practice, this is so bloody cool and I love it. But I bought the original one because it came out in the US first, and it came out in the UK and some other countries, a few months later. But I really wanted one. I just wanted to try it, I wanted to review it. And actually the review didn't do very well in terms of the video, in terms of the views. I was really happy with it, but it's hard, not that many people cared about it because it's $3,500. I think it's a similar price in dollars and in pounds. And that's for the 256 gig storage. You can pay more for 512. I think maybe there's a terabyte option. You can pay more for the case. It's like a NASA sort of space case thing. It's obviously a very niche product, but consider this is the M5 iPad Pro. I've got a few notes here. And 13-inch iPad Pro M5, well, it's the same price as the old one, as I bash the screen. Magic Keyboard, Apple Pencil, top spec model, $3,000. So this is $3,000. A MacBook, you can top out a MacBook Pro laptop, and it's about $7,500. So it's not out of the world of high-end Apple products, that kind of price tag. You could get two of these for the price of a high-end MacBook Pro, 16 or 14. So I understand, but there's a larger issue than the price. I think a lot of people would be interested in investing in this, but a couple of things needed to happen. It needed to become more comfortable somehow. They needed to, produce more experiences and also just get more people on board to develop applications for it and give it a use case. Because I think certainly my takeaway with the original M2 review, I'm just going to call it, M2, M5, was there just wasn't like a one killer feature to hang your hat on. Yes, you'd be like, everything felt like a tech demo, like going into swirling the digital crown at the top here and going into the immersive environments like Yosemite or on a beach, and then you're just there and you've got the sound effects going, you can genuinely lay down, put this on, watch a movie, 3D movie if you want. I put on a bit of Edge of Tomorrow on this, and it just puts you in, you start the movie and it puts you either into a cinema room or it blacks out everything, or you're on the beach watching it and it's like 3 dimensions, it sounds amazing. Like, you don't need headphones with this. That's so, I don't know how they've made the speakers so good on this. But I think maybe for me, the main use case was going to be pairing it with my MacBook, taking it on a plane, or if I travel in a hotel room, if I haven't got a second display and I want a big old second screen for my editing or working or whatever it may be. Fine. But the Achilles heel of the Vision Pro, and really the case for any headset, including the new, also very expensive Galaxy XR, which is like $1,800 on Android, and I don't know who's going to buy that, to be honest. The key issue is comfort. The Galaxy XR that's just been announced is like, most of the comments are like, it's lighter, it's significantly more comfortable than this. I don't know why I put that voice on. But it's the issue we have, because as sharp and smooth and cool and genuinely magical as this is, and I can live with my hair being messed up, although if you're in a business meeting or at the office and you get a flat hair after half an hour conference call, then maybe you don't want that. But regardless, after 15 minutes, you feel the weight it's better, and we'll talk about that in a second. It is much better with this new design of strap, which you can buy for the old one as well, and that's quite important. But you come out of it, and I'm not going to just sit here for 15 minutes and talk to you in this because it's not the most it's not the most interesting for you. You come out and you move your eyes and you go, oh, and you have to mess your hair up. And if you're in it for any period of time, if you're moving around, certainly you're going to have a little red mark here. Your eyes are going to feel tired. And it's just an uncomfortable experience. And that's the fundamental flaw, other than the price, and also, like, what do you need to use this for, with the Vision Pro. It's just not very comfortable. Now, a couple of other issues, smaller ones that I had with the original one. What do you call this thing? The light guard? I think it's the light guard. It has the weakest connection, and as you look at it like this, I'm not sure if this is on camera, I think it is. A lot of people were like, oh, let's pick it up by this thing here. And it falls off so easily. I've learned not to do that, but a handful of people I've given this to just think, oh, that's the sticky out headband bit. Let's pick it up by that. And almost just the weight of the headset alone, it falls off. That would have been such an easy fix. I'm sure of it. I'm not a product engineer, so maybe it wouldn't have been. But that was just one silly thing that I think everyone fed back on. Make that a strong connection so I'm less likely to pull it off when I take it off the desk. Just, a bit more rigid. What else needed to be improved? The headband. Because, let me show you the difference. This is the M2 original knit headband. And you can see here, this floppy old thing has nothing to it, right? Versus the new one, this actually has tungsten weights sewn into the back of it, which means this is actually quite a bit heavier. It's like 150 grams heavier overall than the original M2, which is obviously the opposite way they should have been going, but it means that you have a bit of a counterbalance at the back. So let's go from the M2 without the strap over the head, or you could get third-party straps that went overhead as well, and they were more comfortable. And I can unlock it. Yeah, it feels the same. Fine. So that's the M2. Now with the wait, not the you were going anywhere. Come back, because one of the new features of the new dual knit band is on the old one you had this guy here, right? So you could tighten it on this axis, this dimension. I can tighten the front and back. That was about it. So the full weight is basically resting on your eyebrows, on your nose. You can position this higher on the back of your head, but you're very front weighted. And then all you can do is change the tightness there. Cool. With the new one, and this really is the most significant upgrade, if I'm honest. M5, which we'll talk about in a second, makes a few things faster. You can make your personas 40% quicker, and if you're playing games, then it's faster, but there's not a ton of demanding games on this. The big upgrade is this dual knit band. So if I pop this on, and of course you're still linked to the same battery. Oh, I should have said that. Battery life is improved as well. It is the same battery cell, but through efficiencies in the M5 chip, they've managed to basically add on about half an hour of battery. So if you were getting 2.5 hours before watching a movie, doing something, now you'll get 3 hours. So a nice little improvement, but it's not going to drastically change the way you'd use this. And also I'd be impressed if you could use this for 3 hours straight without getting quite hot and bothered. Anyway, so yes, longer battery life as well. So now I'm here, and immediately that does feel more comfortable. It does. It's because you've got this weight on the top here, the counterbalance at the back, and crucially, this guy on the side has 2 modes. So let me get this right. If you push it out, if you pull it out and then rotate it, it's now tightening the top band. Hopefully that's coming across on the video reasonably well. Whereas if I push it in and then do the same again, it's now tightening the back band, same as the original one. So you've got front and back tightness, and then you've got top tightness. So an extra dimension of flexibility there, in addition to the fact that you're offsetting some of the weight on the top of your head, and you have this more counterweight on the back. So this does feel lighter on my face. And that is a marked improvement. And the best news, I think, really, out of this whole launch is the fact that this dual knit band, and I can already feel like my cheeks getting red from just putting it on and off. This dual knit band, obviously I can take off. You can buy it separately. and attach it to the original one. I really appreciate that. That's points to Apple, because if you bought one of these, and you may well have done, you don't want to be limited by the comfort just because you didn't wait a year and a bit to get the new one. So yes, if you do have an original one, I would 100% go out and buy the dual knit band, stick it on your old one as I bash myself in the face. It does make a significant difference to comfort. Now let's talk about the M5 chip. So far from Apple, we've had the iPad Pro with the M5, the base MacBook Pro with the M5, and the Vision Pro M5. The main upgrades from my reviews of the MacBook and the iPad are the graphics, particularly in terms of ray tracing. Like if you play Cyberpunk with ray tracing on versus off on the MacBook, it's like 65% faster. But generally, graphics rendering, demanding workloads like that, it can be anything sort of up to 20 to 50% faster, which is quite a significant gen-on-gen improvement. And bear in mind, we're coming from the M2 with this. We're looking at M4 to M5 MacBooks, M4 to M5 iPad Pros. This old one was the M2, so 3 generations newer chip. Apple are moving quick. The other main advantage was AI and sort of local AI performance, because each GPU core on the M5 had its own neural accelerator, which means for running AI image generation tools, for there's a draw something program I used, and it was in some cases twice as fast. Like it would create an image in 4 minutes versus 10 minutes or something. Really significant improvements in a very niche use case. I don't know how many people are playing ray trace games or running local LLM AI models on their iPads or base MacBook Pros, and certainly Vision Pros. But it's about future-proofing, right? Apple, also to their credit, have demonstrated that they're not giving up on this. They've continued to create content, some really good content, even if they're like 10-minute little tech demos or 15 minutes, but they're not giving up, and they're just, they keep making this better. Significant improvements to Persona. The Vision OS 26, is that what they're calling it? Vision OS 2? It was Vision OS 2, I think. Like the software it runs. I forget what they're calling it now. Should have done my research before the video. Anyway, we've had significant updates to the software with this over time, and it's become a much better experience in a fairly short period of time. I still find myself just going to the App Store on here, swiping around and thinking, how can I what am I going to do with this? Obviously, I can take spatial photos and videos with my iPhone, and it looks so cool. I almost lost my voice saying that. One of my favorite things, one of my favorite sci-fi movies is Minority Report, and there's a bit in there where Tom Cruise is looking at like a video of his son running, like some like childhood video, and it has this like smeary, ghostly look, like feel to the side of it, around it, but then he's looking at this moving video of his son in basically a hologram of it. This is that. This is genuinely that. Yes, I'm wearing a headset. It's not quite the same, and I'm not wanted for murder yet. But I watched I've shot a few spatial videos, watched them back on here, and whether it's like full screen in front of me, or I've got that over there, another app over there, I've got sports there, I've got, a full array of displays. It's so magical, it's so futuristic, and there's no other headset that I've tested, and I don't think there is one that is smoother, sharper, as detailed, as, what's the word, with the clicky with the finger, as usable, as accessible, and reliably accessible. What's the word I'm thinking of? Interactive. The way you use your fingers to move around, to pinch your eyes, to basically be the mouse cursor. So you like look at the bottom of a window and look at the X, tap to close it. You like look at the bottom right of a page of a program, app, whatever they're called, and then like drag to expand. You can move that window over there, that one over there, turn the digital crown for the immersive experience, immersive world thing around you. No one else does it better. This is the best version of whatever the heck this is there is. And as I say, you have to pay $3.5 grand for it. But it's still going to probably sit on my shelf. This has been collecting dust for the better part of a year until I just tested the new software on it. And while one supposed benefit that did make me think, ooh, with that 10% more detail, with everything being a little bit better thanks to the M5 and the 10% more detail and the better battery life, maybe I will now revisit using my MacBook Pro with this, or any MacBook even. I think maybe iPad. No, I'm not sure. I think it's just MacBooks. Anyway, because Apple said that it would support the full 120 Hertz ProMotion, but that's not the case so far. I have asked Apple about this. They are getting back to me, and it's my own fault for not asking them sooner for an answer for this video. I will pin a comment and put it in the description if they feedback the correction. Maybe it will be updated in a update. I hope it will. But right now, it definitely feels like going from the super slick 120 Hz UI with the icons and moving everything around to connecting it to your MacBook, which is still done with that cool little sort of connect button that pops up above your screen. It goes right down to 60 Hz. It's like using the ProMotion screen on the desktop, but then plugging it into the studio display, which is 60 Hz. It's like that level of, it's much slower. So hopefully we see that fixed, because it's supposed to be 120 Hz with a MacBook as soon as it's connected, which will be nice. And also, it is really good. You still are going to get a little bit of eye strain, I suspect, if you're using it for long periods of time. And because of the foveated rendering, you get a little like moire, you know, like the chromatic aberration-y stuff, and also the lack of detail around the edges. But for what you're looking at, it works. It looks really good. I could absolutely edit a video. I could write a script or something, watch a YouTube video. I could use my full laptop desktop in here and be reasonably happy with it. I could tilt the chair back. I've got my keyboard, that's the word, keyboard, mouse pad, and whether I want it to be fully immersed in some cool environment, so I'm on the moon or by the beach, or partially. And actually, one update with the more recent software is that if you're playing games, and of course I could be running Cyberpunk or playing any game that's supported on my Mac, in this as basically a second monitor, as a screen. So I can therefore have this, like, you've got three options. You've got like regular, ultra wide, super ultra wide, which is kind of dumb because you have to really move your head around to see the edges of your screen. I quite like the standard mode or the regular ultra wide, and you can change the size of it. You can have it, just the same size as my monitor back there, or I could blow it up, expand it to a IMAX cinema in front of me, and it still looks really crisp and lovely and smooth. I forget where I was going with that. It would be nice if it was 120 Hertz, but at the end of the day, where was I going with that? So like if you're playing games, it's faster. That's the problem with doing those one takes. This is where I'd cut and be like, what the heck was I talking about? Plug it into the Mac, 120 Hertz. Anyway, it's very good. I am happy to use it as a second screen with my Mac. Also, it gets a few looks on the plane or the train, or if you're out in public. I also don't think there's any use case where you should be walking around with this. You can have it in travel mode, so if you're on a train or a plane or whatever, the screen's not just like flying at you. But unless you're doing it for some stupid TikTok video, there is no reason to wear this out and about. This is a static, sit down, lie down at the desk, in bed kind of setup. This is a use case for this. But you're still going to it's still uncomfortable after 15 minutes of sitting at my desk using the screen. The emotions are like, okay, here we go. Damn, that's cool. And then like, ooh. And then after maybe 5 minutes, I'm like, maybe squinting a little bit, a couple of things. But I'm like, this still works. This is way better than using my monitor. And I'm like looking around a bit more. I play around with the different sizes. I'm like, maybe it feels smaller. But then after 15 minutes, when like, I'm now in the zone working or whatever I'm doing, I then think, no, my face hurts. There's at no point in my day, whether I'm at the office / studio working, or I'm in the evening, it's evening and I'm relaxing, do I want to feel this on my face? Even though it's more comfortable, significantly so, and if it doesn't bother you and you have used the original one, as I say, get the dual net band, and it may not bother you, but after paying $3.5 grand, and I just don't want to use it regularly because it's just a bit uncomfortable and still a bit heavy. And let's think about this. What were the key complaints of the original one? It was too heavy. It's even heavier now. I mean, yes, they've counterbalanced it and improved the comfort, but it's not any lighter. This is still annoying. The addition of the M5 chip makes personas generate faster and a little bit more detail, a little bit more battery life, but fairly minor improvements. And nothing about this really has addressed the key issues, which were weight, price, and why the heck do you want to use it? except for just showing off and having a play, which you're absolutely entitled to. And this is one of the best fun gadgets and just experiences I've ever had. But I'm still not convinced. I really do hope, and I expect Apple to continue to support it, and I'm really keen to see what they do next. But if we can have something, you know, they switch back from titanium to aluminium all the time with their phones, if we could reduce the weight significantly, if we could reduce the price significantly, and I don't know what else, I guess that's a question to you guys. What would make you, let's assume you could afford it and you wanted one, what would make you run out and buy a new Vision Pro? Is there a single kind of like feature that's missing or could be improved? It's tough. I think for me, it just comes down to comfort. And I think if you could get it for $1,800 and it weighed half as much and was just as good, I don't think that's going to happen. I'd be more interested. But what else do we have out there? We have the new Galaxy XR headset, which is running Android on a new Qualcomm, what was it, the AR2 Gen 2 Plus, AR1 Plus Gen 2. Anyway, Qualcomm chip, Android software. Still don't know why anyone would buy it, and that's like $1,800 from Samsung. Very strange. I personally use the X Reels, not the same exactly because it's just a screen, and you plug it in via USB-C to your phone or your laptop or your games console. But I like the X Reel glasses because they're only what, £400 or £500. You get a beautiful micro OLED. I think the high refresh rate. I think they're 90 or 120 hertz. Bright enough, great for watching movies, great for plugging into your laptop and doing some work on the plane, and much more comfortable because they're basically a pair of sunglasses, much more affordable. So to give you that kind of second screen experience for your laptop or for watching a movie on a plane, I'd use a pair of X Reel 1 Pros over this. For sitting here, having a play, being like, whoa, this is so futuristic, and in the ideal world, having a group of friends who also have one, or a group of colleagues or clients who also have one, and jumping into a FaceTime and rotating a prototype product, incredible. I want them to keep doing it. Really, really freaking cool. I hope I've got that point across. But what do you think about the new Vision Pro? Have you bought one? Have you tried one? Would you ever be tempted to? And what do you think about this updated M5 version? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope I didn't waffle on too long. If you enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up and a subscribe. If you didn't, then hey, do it anyway. Why not? And I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chap. Thanks for watching.